The standard for AMD's 7000 series motherboards is high, and ASRock is not taking any chances. Time and time again, they have released excellent motherboards for the AM5 socket, and the ASRock PG RIPTIDE is no exception, especially given the features they offer at a really affordable price. The motherboard is packed with a powerful 12+2+1 phase VRM. This configuration can easily run the 7600 even if you do extreme overclocking with this chip. In fact, this motherboard will have no issues in running an overclocked 7800X or a stock 7950X. The VRM heatsinks are beefy and cover all 12 VRM capacitors to ensure that the board always stays under 80 degrees Celsius. There are, however, reports of power limiting on this motherboard through the BIOS. ASRock has set a temperature limit of 75 degrees Celsius for the VRMs by default. To ensure that the VRMs stay within the 75 degree limit, the system may crash if you're running an intense workload. This makes no sense because after removing the power limit, the heatsinks have no trouble keeping the VRMs at around 76 degrees, even when running a 16-core 7950X at an all-core load at 5 GHz. As a general rule, if your VRMs are under 80 degrees Celsius at maximum load, that means they're operating at an ideal environment. The ASRock B650M PG RIPTIDE motherboard is well built thanks to its 6-layer PCB design. It also doesn't have that over-the-top gamer look, which is a big plus in my opinion. This board will fit nicely in any setup, especially if you're going for an all-black theme. Also, don't let its micro ATX size fool you because it's got 4 PCIe expansion slots, 2 PCIe 4x16 and 2 PCIe 3x1. Usually, we find 3 or more than 3 PCIe slots on full-sized ATX motherboards, so for ASRock to fit 4 on a micro ATX motherboard is nothing short of a serious flex. What's more impressive is that this motherboard has a PCIe 5.0 M2 slot, because it is quite hit or miss to find a PCIe 5.0 M2 slot at this price point, and the second M2 slot is running at PCIe 4.0 speeds instead of PCIe 3.0, which most manufacturers opt for. Even the memory support is excellent, and the ASRock B650M PG RIPTIDE can easily run 6,000 megatransfers per second DDR5 RAM with complete stability. ASRock claims that this motherboard can support RAM speeds of up to 7,200 megatransfers per second and beyond with overclock, but that needs to be tested further. The rear I/O is very good in my opinion, and features a 2.5 gigabit Ethernet port, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.2, BIOS flashback button, HDMI 2.1, DisplayPort 1.4, and standard audio jacks. There are also a total of 7 USB Type-A ports. 4 of them are USB 2.0, 2 of them are USB 3.2 Gen 1, and 1 is a USB 3.2 Gen 2 port, along with a USB 3.2 Gen 2 Type-C port. ASRock also offers Thunderbolt 4 support on this motherboard, which really impressed me, and I feel like more manufacturers need to incorporate this into their motherboards as well. As the demand for workstation PCs increases, Thunderbolt will become a deciding factor for many to run their high-speed devices. The market for budget AM5 motherboards is quite healthy and competitive. We are seeing great offerings from all vendors. Some of the best budget motherboards are the Gigabyte B650M DS3H and ASRock B650 Pro RS, and they usually come as the first options for many when they are looking to build their next AMD-based PC. However, when comparing any other budget motherboard at a price range between $150 and $200, the ASRock B650M PG RIPTIDE is a substantially better motherboard. The VRM configuration is twice as powerful as the Gigabyte DS3H, and the Pro RS isn't that much better with its 8 phases. Apart from the VRMs, Gigabyte is one-upped by ASRock in terms of I/O and expandability. The ASRock B650M PG RIPTIDE makes it impossible to look elsewhere for a better motherboard on a budget. At this point, my only nitpicks with this motherboard are that it does not have a clear CMOS button included in the rear I/O, and there is a need for a few more USB 3.2 ports, even if it means removing a couple of USB 2.0 ports. The audio jacks are only a standard 7.1 3-jack array, so a complete 5-jack array with an optical SPDIF port would have been ideal. Still, even without those features, the ASRock B650M PG RIPTIDE is a killer budget AM5 motherboard, and all in all offers everything you would probably expect from much more expensive motherboards. It has strong VRMs, excellent cooling, PCIe 5.0, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 4 PCIe expansion slots, all in a single micro ATX form factor. To sum up what I like in this board is the great VRM design for the price, the Thunderbolt 4 support, and the 4 PCIe expansion slots in a micro ATX form factor. On the downside, there is no CMOS clear button, and the BIOS level temperature limit is unnecessary and prevents CPUs from reaching their maximum potential. Our rating for VRM design is 8 out of 10. Features, 8 out of 10. Aesthetics, 7.5 out of 10. Value for money, 9 out of 10, for an overall rating of 8 out of 10.